Hello, everybody. Hello, Big Reds. This is Mr. Fischel talking. Today we're going to be talking about Unit 3, Learning Target 7. I can use side lengths and angle measurements to prove triangles are congruent using side, 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 angle, 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 side, or hypotenuse leg, and solve for missing sides algebraically. All right, so today's success criteria is use 5 ways to show triangles are congruent. You're probably wondering what I'm talking about. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a triangle here, and I'm going to make those sides so you can see them a little bit better. I'm going to make them thicker. Okay, good. And I'm going to label these A, B, and C. Okay, so what do I want to do here? Well, first of all, I'm going to do a little copying myself. So I'm going to put this, let's see, move this triangle over here, shrink it down just a little bit, copy, and I'm going to paste it. So I'm going to have another triangle right here. And I'll rotate this just slightly so it looks something like this. And I'm going to change the letters just a little bit. So let's see. Just so we can use different letters here. Let's call it something different. Let's call it, I don't know. Let's call it D, E, and F. All right. Okay, so obviously you know that these two triangles are congruent. They're same angle measures, same size, because I copied. I took this one, ABC, copied over here, and D, E, F. So we could write congruent statement. It said, and I can't actually figure out the congruence on here, so I could say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Okay, but how do you show that that's congruent? Well, there's 5 ways. First one, and I'm going to use a different color, is called side, side, side. Okay, so if I show AB is congruent to DE, BC is congruent to EF, and AC is congruent to DF. And those are congruent by side, side, side. All right? So that's one way to show triangles are congruent. If you prove all the sides of this triangle are congruent to all the sides of this triangle, that's congruent by side, side, side. All right, well, now I'm going to make a duplicate of this. And I'm going to change a couple things here. So delete all these markings here. We don't need them on here anymore. Oh, oops. I don't want to do that. Just taking off all these markings here. All right, now I'm going to insert a few more duplicate pages, and you'll see why in a little bit. All right. So the first one, those are congruent by side, side, side. Second one, if I was to show they are congruent, oh, I want to delete this too, sorry. And hopefully you're copying down these examples too. All right, so there's side, side, side. in this one, I'm going to make some more marks, but I'm not going to make side, side, side marks. Let's say I say AB is congruent to DE, okay, and let's say I say angle A is congruent to angle D, and AC is congruent to DF. Okay, this is another way to show triangles are congruent to each other. This is called side, angle, side. Okay, so if you have an angle congruent to another angle, and the sides on either side of that angle congruent to the sides on either side of the angle over here, then the triangles have to be congruent by side, angle, side. Next, there are more. Let's say angle A is congruent to angle D again. Angle C is congruent to angle F. And AC is congruent to DF. Okay, so now we have two angles and the side that's between them. So this is called angle, side, angle. This is another way to prove triangles are congruent. Let's try another one. Let's say A is congruent to D again, and C is congruent to F again. Well, let's say our side that's congruent is not between those two. Let's say it's like BC is congruent to EF. Well, now it's not angle, side, angle because the side's not between the angles, right? So a way that this is called is angle, angle, side. Okay, so let's recap the ways that we can prove triangles congruent so far. We have side, 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 angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. Okay? Now, I told you that there were 5, right? Well, the other one works only with right triangles. So I'm going to insert a new page here. We'll go back to this drawing. I'm going to construct a right triangle here. So I'm going to highlight this line, construct a perpendicular line, make sure it's right angle. And I'm going to make these disappear. Okay, and I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to do another screenshot here. Okay, now I have a right triangle, right? I'm going to copy it, paste it. I'm going to turn this one a little bit so they're a little different angles. And I'm going to label them just like I did before. So this is A, B. Why do I use A, B, C all the time? It's so easy. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, right? And D, E, and F. And I'll move those a little closer so you can see them a little better. So it's A, B, C, and D, E, F. Okay, so you know those triangles are congruent, right? All right, but in order for these to be congruent, I'm going to label a couple things. First of all, we know that these are right angles because these are perpendicular. So this is a right angle and this is a right angle. Okay. Now, if the hypotenuse, think about what's the hypotenuse. Remember, the right angle always points to the hypotenuse. So if the hypotenuse here is congruent to the hypotenuse here, and one of the legs, say BC, is congruent to one of the legs over here, EF, then these two triangles are congruent by what's called hypotenuse leg, but this only works for right triangles. So again, hypotenuse leg, if the hypotenuse of this triangle is congruent to the hypotenuse of this triangle, and one of the legs, could be either one, this leg or this leg, is congruent to this leg over here, so you can see two sides are congruent, and it happens to be a right triangle, then these two triangles are congruent. So again, let's recap. You could prove triangles are congruent if three sides of one are congruent to three sides of another. That's by side, side, side. Side, angle, side is congruent to side, angle, side of this triangle. Angle, side, angle is congruent to angle, side, angle of this triangle. Angle, angle, side is congruent to angle, angle, side of this triangle. And finally, if you have right triangles only, if you have the hypotenuses are congruent and the legs are congruent, then you can prove those triangles are congruent by hypotenuse leg. So we're going to do a lot with these. These are 5 ways that you're going to have to know to prove triangles are congruent. All right. So now I just have to figure out how to turn the recorder off.